Alright guys, welcome back to Eric Reacts with more Game of Thrones. This is we're on season 6. Season 6, episode 7, The Broken Man. I don't know what that could be referring to. Is someone going to be have a mental breakdown this episode? Maybe it could be referring to Edmure. He's probably pretty broken. Theon too. Do signs of Theon's brokenness start to show again? Could be talking about Loras, actually. That's my guess as to what the title is referring to. It's probably referring to all of them, but like Loras in particular. I feel bad for all of them, but really looking forward to Arya versus Waif. Benjen, Bran, Mira heading to the wall. I guess Benjen could count as broken too. And we might get some interactions between Walder Frey's sons and Jaime and Brienne. They're all going to be in the same area. And the Blackfish too. It'll be entertaining to say the least. And yeah, Jon is going to be doing whatever he's doing. I don't know. Going around and building up armies. Trying to find houses that will be loyal to him and pledge to him. That'll be interesting to watch. Yeah, before we get started, I will have to say I'm actually panicking just a little bit because I have so many things I want to do on this channel. And I was a few episodes ahead even on Patreon. And I burned out a little. And now I have like no reserve episodes left. So by the time right now, like the last episode just aired, so 6-6 just aired on Patreon. I'm loving this series, but also kind of like stressed out. When you work but don't have a boss, you theoretically can just choose your own hours, but it winds up being like you working all the hours. I promise you guys I won't fall behind on Game of Thrones, but it does mean I'll have to push back some of my plans for the future. I did start Stranger Things, and I'm going to stick with that, but I'm going to have to push back 2 shows that I wanted to start late March. I think I'll start one of them maybe at the end of April and one maybe later in May. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is also coming back in May too, so at least Game of Thrones will be once a week by then, so much easier to do. But thank you so much, everyone on Patreon, for your support. You're the reason why I can continue doing this. I get to share my thoughts and experiences with you guys, and it helps pay some of my bills, so thank you so much. Anyway, guys, I'm excited to get into this episode. If you want to check out the full reaction on Patreon with the footage, check that out in the link in the description below. Thanks for listening to my rant, and let's get started. 4 mana trunk. One guy? Who is this? I recognize his breathing. Sandor frickin' Clegane, still alive. Yeah.
And you had bugs all over you, and bone was coming through right there.
Jeez.
Now, there are some who know every verse of the sacred text, but don't have a drop of the Mother's mercy in their blood. And savages who can't read at all, who understand the Father's wisdom. Since your reunion, you haven't joined him in the marriage bed.
No.
You have a duty, Your Grace. To your husband, your king, your country.
Yes.
To the gods themselves.
Have sex because it's your duty.
Congress does not require desire on the woman's part. Only patience. The king
Jesus
must
Christ.
have an heir if we are to continue our good work.
Does it move or talk? I want to speak with you alone.
Does it move or talk?
And my men will stroll in here and bash you about
Grandmother.
until I tell them to stop. If I tell them to stop, you could use a good bashing.
Grandmother, please.
What have they done to you?
I am the queen. It is my duty to serve my husband, the king. But you should leave, Grandmother. Your place is at home. You must. Go home.
The real Marjorie is in there.
7 blessings to you, Grandmother.
Under all this acting. Many faces. The rose. Feel better now?
You shouldn't have to come to Winterfell with me. I shouldn't be asking you. It's not the deal we made. I need you with me
It's the hand
if
of
we're going
adults.
to beat them, and we need to beat them if you're going to survive. He spoke for the free folk. But no other Southerners would.
And
He
came
died
back to
for us.
life.
If we are not willing to do the same for him, we're cowards. If that's what we are, we deserve to be the last of the free folk.
Ooh.
I wonder if you're the worst person I've ever met. At a certain age, it's hard to recall. But the truly vile do stand out through the years. You're going to kill them all by yourself?
If I have to.
You've lost Cersei. It's the only joy I can find in all this misery.
Someone needs to teach those sad twats how to dig trenches.
Someone certainly does. You have better instincts than any officer in the Lannister army.
That's like saying I have a bigger cock than anyone in the Unsullied army.
Holy crap.
Expect to command.
You promised me a lordship and a castle and a highborn beauty for a wife.
And you'll get all three. A Lannister always
Don't
pays...
say it. Don't fucking say it.
We didn't know you were coming.
Because you didn't set a proper perimeter. You just allowed 8,000 men to approach unchallenged.
Good thing we're friends, or we'd be fucking you in the ass right now.
Have Lord Edmure bathed and fed.
Whoa.
Only a fool makes threats he's not prepared to carry out. Well, let's say I threatened to hit you unless you shut your mouth, but you kept talking. What do you think I'd do?
I don't give a rap.
Lady Mormont.
Is that a bear? Yeah, Mormont, bear.
Welcome to Bear Island.
She's so young. She's a kid. She's so cute.
As far as I understand, you're a Snow, and Lady Sandra is a Bolton. Who's your Lannister? I've heard conflicting reports.
I did what I had to do to survive, my lady.
What you have to understand, my lady, is that...
I understand that I'm responsible for Bear Island and all who live here. So why should I sacrifice one more Mormont life for someone else's war?
Davos. So
Your uncle,
convincing.
Lord Commander Mormont, made that man his steward. Because Geo Mormont and Jon Snow both understood that the real war isn't between a few squabbling houses. It's between the living and the dead.
She's awesome. She's so awesome.
We will not break faith today.
How many fighting men can we expect?
62.
What?
And every man from Bear Island fights with the strength of 10 mainlanders.
If they're half as ferocious as their lady, the Boltons are doomed.
Yes.
We have enough provisions for 2 years. Do you have 2 years, Kingslayer?
Will the White Walkers be here by then?
We've only just taken back this castle from the Ironborn. The Boltons helped us do it. Now you want me to fight against them? I could be skinned for even talking to you. You're asking me to join your army. Who is fighting in this army?
Wildlings. He's like, Davos, do I say it?
And where was King Robb when the Ironborn attacked this castle? Taking up with a foreign whore. Getting himself and those who followed him killed.
Oh, she has the tattoo. They're in Volantis?
Why do we have to come here?
Oh.
Some of us still like it.
I didn't know Yara was gay or bi.
Have a drink at least.
I don't want any.
I don't care what you want. Drink.
Peer pressure.
Drink it all. You got away and you're never going back. We'll get justice for you.
If I got justice, my burnt body would hang over the gates of Winterfell.
Fuck justice then, we'll get revenge. Drink. If you're so broken that there's no coming back, take a knife and cut your wrists. But if you're staying, Theon, I need you. We're gonna sail to Meereen. We're gonna make a pact with this Dragon Queen. And we're gonna take back the Iron Islands. Are you really with me?
Look her in the eyes.
We have to march on Winterfell now, while we still can.
2,000 wildlings, 200 Hornwoods, 143 Masons.
62 Mormonts.
It's
Is that
2,400.
what we hoped for?
For fuck's sake.
It's not enough. We need more men.
Get the men in the Vale. That's
There's
your
no
last.
time.
If we went down to Castle Kerwin, I know that Lord
We
Kerwin...
fight with the army we have. Who the fuck are you? Hold on.
2,400 against 5,000 in a siege. You need more men in a siege than the people inside.
Never too late to stop robbing people, to stop killing people, start helping people. It's never too late to come back.
Talking to you in particular.
Stay safe. The night is dark and full of terrors.
What do you want to do? Fight them? Kill them? It'd be you against all of them. I mean, these people don't know how to fight.
You do.
I'm done with fighting. Violence is a disease. You don't cure a disease by spreading it to more people.
Arya. Wait, I thought she was hiding. I'm waiting for the wave.
We leave in 2 days. You can have a hammock in steerage.
I want a cabin. And we'll leave at dawn.
Ooh.
See you at sunrise.
Ah. The wave can change her face. Is this her?
Sweet girl.
Oh! She didn't come this far just to die. Damn it, Arya. Horses? Screams. Time for revenge. The Brotherhood. Sandor freaking Clegane. I thought he might be alive, but to actually get confirmation, he's basically spent the last year and a half like cutting wood though, right? Getting swole even more than before. I wonder if that basic muscle training has made him any better, any stronger though. There's a reason why people train like that. I don't know if you see people like doing CrossFit, like people using a hammer on a tire, like builds up back muscles like nobody's business. It's amazing. It sounds like he was really horribly off before he was saved though, like bugs all over him and bones sticking out of his leg. Ugh. But he was kept alive because of his hatred for, I'm guessing, the kingdom and for the mountain. I wonder if we'll ever get a showdown between the two. Could be pretty epic. But the man who saved him is an interesting foil to Clegane, like went through many hardships, committed so many acts of violence, and wound up choosing peace. He says that violence only begets violence. It's like a disease. But with the Brotherhood, peace and hospitality led to violence as well. So I don't know how the Brotherhood justifies killing all of them. Like they were, building a watchtower or something? I mean, in all groups there are dissidents and like extremists who will use their name of their group to commit atrocities. But it doesn't feel like something Beric Dondarrion's group would be on board for. Yeah, just based on what they've done before. Like, but there you have it. The man who saved Sandor was wrong, spreading violence in response to violence. That's the only thing that works in this world of violence. And so Sandor Clegane enters the fray. It'll be interesting to see whose side he winds up on after he takes care of the Brotherhood, if he takes care of them. Does he join the fight against the White Walkers? They're going to have to use some fire to take out the Whites, I'm guessing, though, so that might make it difficult for him. Back in King's Landing, Marjorie freaking Tyrell. I knew she was still with us. I was 99% sure, like I said last episode. Olenna was just like so desperate to help her get back, and Marjorie could have had Septa Unella stay back and have a secret conversation with Olenna, but she kept Septa Unella there just to make sure she saw that she was loyal, and then meanwhile she slipped that paper with the rose sigil to Olenna. I don't know if she's figured out a plan to stop the Sparrows yet. Her and Cersei should theoretically be working together to achieve that, but I don't see that happening. It'll be interesting to see who gets to the Sparrows first, though. I don't know what either of them can do to do that, though. The thing is, the High Sparrow has some interesting thoughts about the human condition. Like, poor people disgust us because they are what we all are, with all our finery stripped away. I don't know that that's true, but it's interesting to think about. Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about, and I don't know. But his views have become so incredibly warped. It's like he's moved so far to being a man of the people that he's looped around to being a tyrant again. Like, I actually know some people who are like that in real life, and it's just like, what the heck? How did you make that mental leap? I guess just as an example, like, some people go so far left with their political ideology. Like, first, democratic socialism has been appealing to a lot of people because the policy it espouses seems to be what's best for as many people as possible. But then some, I'm going to call them fanatics, honestly, because they see the word socialism and they're like, what if we don't just do the democratic socialism, but we do like full-blown socialism? Viva Maduro, the leader in Venezuela. Viva socialism. And it's like, my dudes, like, how did your brain get so warped? They went so far left that they went back around to the right again, and I feel like that's what's happening. That's what happened to the High Sparrow, and that's what happened with everybody he's controlling. And yeah, he's become so incredibly disgusting. Like, yes, Marjorie, have sex with Tom, and it's your duty. It's like such patriarchal nonsense. Like, get raped, or at the very least, get coerced into having sex and have a baby, so I can continue brainwashing the masses. All right. That actually reminds me of a comment I got early on in my Game of Thrones reactions. I was saying something about how horrible it was that Dany was getting raped or something like that, and some guy was like, oh, why are you being a feminist? Men won't respect you for it, and women won't have sex with you for it. And I was just like, oh my god, are you really having a problem with me saying it's horrible that Dany got raped? Like, what I said isn't even feminism, and he's just like, Alright, and like, furthermore, like, obviously the only reason to do anything is for respect for men and sex with women. Like, come on. Anyway, that was two completely unrelated tangents, somewhat related tangents, but Bronn is back with Jaime. Bronn, he still doesn't have his rich wife and castle yet. Poor guy. He's risked his life over and over again. He deserves to get paid. But Jaime is taking over the siege at Riverrun. Fun to watch the Freys utterly fail to negotiate with Blackfish Tully. Blackfish calling their bluff about killing Edmure. I actually forgot that Blackfish is Edmure's uncle, not father. I think I might have said father or son in another episode. But it's been a while since we've seen either of them. Jaime tells the Freys to feed Edmure, though, which, good for him. He knows what it's like to be a prisoner and doesn't wish his enemies to be treated poorly like that. Understandable. The Tullys and Jaime seem to be at a stalemate, though. I don't know what could possibly shift this balance in power. Maybe an ambush of some sort. I was saying the wildlings could come down here to fight so that they could add to their army, but I feel like, yeah, they would definitely lose more men than they would gain, especially with what Jaime said. He said he walked in with 8,000 men. Yeah, the wildlings are not taking advantage of 8,000 men. But yeah, Jon is set on starting this fight now too, so it's immaterial. It feels like they're just starting to build up this huge fight between the Boltons and the Starks, and we're like almost done with the season already. We actually haven't seen Ramsay in a long time either, have we? And speaking of Jon, it was really, really fun to watch Jon, Sansa, and Davos go around gathering people to fight against the Boltons. I knew the wildlings would be on board once they explained the situation properly. 1-1 was just like, snow, and pretty sure that was the first time we ever heard him speak. But yeah, that was enough of an endorsement to get everybody else on board. I found that really funny. And then Lyanna Mormont is such a freaking boss. Reminds me a lot of Anya in The Dragon Prince Season 2. Neither of them are taking anyone's crap. Now that I think about it, Anya and Lyanna sound pretty similar. I think it's perfectly reasonable to make the conclusion that Anya is based on Lyanna. I love Davos's line so much, though, when he pledges 62 men to her cause. If they're half as ferocious as their lady. I can't do his accent. I don't know what accent he has. If they're half as ferocious as their lady, the Boltons are doomed. And does Lyanna Mormont embody the spirit of her bear sigil, or what? That was awesome. Actually, quite coincidentally, speaking of The Dragon Prince, I recently watched an episode where they integrated LGBTQ characters into the show seamlessly, and I feel like they did it really well in this episode too. I'll say the same thing I said in my reaction to that episode of The Dragon Prince. Like, Yara was LGBTQ, and the show didn't point it out at all. No one made a big deal out of it. And I feel like that's a great way of doing representation. Like, the most common arguments I hear against the inclusion of LGBTQ characters is, if the gay people want their own movie, they should make their own. A movie with a gay character isn't going to make money. Which, okay, so many things wrong with that argument, but look how easily and seamlessly it was done in this episode. It didn't interfere with the telling of the story. It didn't upset anybody unless they're homophobic, biphobic, or transphobic, which who cares what they think. And did inclusion of a gay character make Game of Thrones any less profitable? Probably not. And yeah, just being gay or trans or bi or anything else doesn't have to be the crux of the story. The fact that it simply is great already. And that's one of the reasons I liked Oberyn a lot too. It didn't occur to me to talk about this issue back then for some reason, but maybe I did and I forgot. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad Yara has a plan of action to steal Euron's plan and go to Daenerys and pledge their ships to her. I hope they have enough. They mentioned, I think somebody mentioned, I think it was Tyrion, or somebody mentioned that they needed 1,000 ships to get everybody back. I think it might have been Dario or Jorah actually, because they were saying how many ships to take the Dothraki with them. Can you just use 500 then come back and take the others? Or how long is that trip, and like how long can they stay in one area waiting for the rest of the reinforcements? Yara pressures Theon to drink. I don't like peer pressure at all, but she's also doing what she can to reawaken Theon. He's clearly not the same, but she's hoping to lower his inhibitions so that he can be somewhat himself again. The pep talk was brutal, but maybe it's what was necessary for him to get back. I don't know. I don't know. But it seems like he's back a little bit, and there's some fire in his eyes. Arya, I don't know what she was thinking. I thought she was gonna wait in that room in the dark for the waif and have waiting for the waif and just waiting there in the dark so that they could fight. And then the scene came up with her offering gold to the ship captain for passage. I was like, wait, did I somehow skip an episode? What happened? Like, I thought she was preparing to fight the waif, and then she gets stabbed so easily. I was like, don't you know they're after you and can change their face to literally anyone? Why would you fall for anybody approaching you? And now, so she's bleeding out and close to death. The waif, of course, Jaqen told the waif to make sure she doesn't suffer, but of course she stabbed him right in the gut so she would suffer. I don't know how the waif became a faceless man, honestly. She has so much of a grudge, and she's not no one. Oh, I didn't finish talking about the Starks. They don't have the men to go against Ramsay. They have like 2,400-ish against the 5,000 the Boltons have. And it's supposed to be a siege, and putting the Starks at a huge disadvantage already. They do have a giant, though. But Brienne will either have to succeed with getting Blackfish Tully to help, which seems highly unlikely. Or Sansa's going to have to actually go to Littlefinger. I don't think there are any other options, at least none that have been introduced so far. Like, actually, if Theon and Sansa could talk, it's possible the Ironborn could be convinced to join their side. Theon might want to do that just to make up for what he did, but there's too much bad blood there. The rest of the North would see it as a betrayal, and the Ironborn have more pressing issues, more pressing concerns. Namely, they have to make it to Daenerys before Euron does. Sansa does write a letter and puts the Stark seal on it. I thought the seal was supposed to be put on the letter, like after you roll it up and like literally seal the letter, but she puts it on the right side of her signature. A little weird. But I imagine that's going to the Vale. I don't see anybody else she could be writing to. Some last thoughts though. Olenna is just straight up savage with Cersei. I love that line. I wonder if you're the worst person I've met. At a certain age, it's hard to recall. And then the other one was how she was saying, the only joy I have in any of this is knowing that you've lost. And I love that Davos is taking responsibility for like keeping Jon's troops in line. They were like starting to bicker among themselves and fight a little bit, and he's just like, for fuck's sake. Amazing. I'm going to give this episode 4 direwolves, largely on the strength of new characters we met, mainly Lyanna, frickin' Mormont, the revival of Sandor Clegane. I wonder if he and Arya will ever run into each other again. I think I'm very much looking forward to that reunion. That would be really fun to watch. But alright everyone, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe if you want to watch the next 3 episodes right now. Make sure to check out the early access option on Patreon and the link in the description below. And thanks for watching. Bye friends.